Well, President Trump called for an end to special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation earlier today, calling it, quote, totally conflicted and discredited. That follows the release of heavily redacted documents this weekend related to federal surveillance of former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page because of his ties to Russia.
The president blamed the, quote, unverified and fake dirty dossier that was paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton and the DNC as the basis for the FBI tracking Page. Mr. Trump initially tried to capitalize on the release of the Bureau's FISA application, saying it proved the FBI misled the court. But lawmakers from both parties have disagreed with the president's assessment. Here's what Republican Senator Marco Rubio told CNN.
So as far as you know, and you're a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, the surveillance was justified.
Yeah, I don't think they did anything wrong. I think they went to the court. They got the judges to approve it. They laid out all the information, and there was a lot of reasons unrelated to the dossier for why they wanted to look at Carter Page. And Carter Page was not a key member of the Trump campaign, and the Trump campaign has said that.
CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reid is outside the Justice Department in Washington. So, Paula, at issue here is how the so-called Steele dossier was used by the FBI in front of the FISA court in order to obtain permission to track Carter Page. What do we know about that?
Well, if you look at this application, this reveals all of the government's evidence for why it wanted to surveil Carter Page. And they allege they believe he was an agent of a foreign government. They also allege that there was an active campaign by the Russian government to recruit him as a spy. Now, Page has denied all of this. He talked with CNN. We can toss to the clip where he adamantly denied these allegations.
No, I've never been an agent of the foreign power by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I may have back in the G20 when they were getting ready to do that in St. Petersburg, I might have participated in a few meetings that a lot of people, including people from the Obama administration, were sitting on in Geneva, Paris, etc. But I've never been anywhere near what's being described here.
What's also significant, though, about this application is that it really undermines Republicans' claims that the FBI abused its surveillance power by failing to disclose the origins of the so-called Steele dossier. That's that body of research that was compiled on then-candidate Trump and his campaign. But if you look at this application, there's over a page-long explanation of the Steele dossier and an acknowledgement of the fact that it may have been supported by someone with an anti-Trump bias. I also found it significant that each of the 4 judges who approved this surveillance, they were all appointed by Republican presidents.
So, Paula, when the president of the United States tweets that this was, and I'm quoting the tweet from the president, that this was falsely submitted to FISA, and which was responsible for starting the totally conflicted and discredited Mueller witch hunt, is the president correct that this was falsely submitted?
According to 4 Republican judges, no. And if you look at the details in this application, this really undercuts the talking points that have been pushed forward by Devin Nunes and other Republicans, including the president. They all allege that the FBI failed to disclose that the Steele dossier was funded by someone who had an anti-Trump bias. They also allege that the sole basis for surveilling Carter Page was the Steele dossier, and therefore the entire Russia probe is inappropriate and, as the president describes, a hoax. But if you look at this 400-page application, even though it is heavily redacted, you see that they had many different reasons for surveilling Carter Page. As we noted before, they believed he was a foreign agent. They had evidence of a campaign to recruit him as a spy. There was a lot more that they were putting forward in addition to just the Steele dossier, and they wrapped the Steele dossier in considerable context. Well, in the past they've said, oh, we just mentioned it in a footnote. The fact is, this footnote was over a page long, and it was the same font as the rest of the application. There's no way a judge was going to miss this.
So how significant is the release of these documents? As you pointed out, heavily redacted, but how significant and who benefits from it?
This is incredibly significant because this is the first time the public has ever seen a FISA court application. The first rule of FISA is that you don't talk about FISA. You don't reveal the evidence that is brought to the secret surveillance court where law enforcement goes when they want to surveil anyone inside the U.S. who is suspected of being a spy. This is the first time one of these applications has been made public, and there are concerns among law enforcement officials, both current and former, that by revealing this application, it may make it difficult to get evidence and sources to cooperate with you if they think that one day this could all be unsealed and made public. And there's also a serious concern, too, about making secret FISA applications public as part of what one source described to me as partisan games.
Fight Club, FISA. I sense something there.
Indeed.
Same rules apply. Paula Reid, thank you.